it's the Rumblecast time. Start those fireworks because it's time to talk about WWF St. Valentine's Day Massacre. You know, we're here on the 14th of May. Valentine's Day.
Only 3 months there. It's fine. It's fine. Works.
No, this is the correct date, the 14th. But hello everyone who's jumped in the chat that I've seen so far. Paul Phoebo, Kixie Wixie's here as well. And then me and Sloop, because we also sometimes type in there.
Just to say hello, make sure that we do see chat. We don't just ignore it.
Yes. But yes, I'm Jake, Nerdy Up North, streaming podcasting man, the tiny podcasting man. And I'm joined as always by my tag team partner, Sloop.
What would be your tag team name?
You know, I had that on my list of conversation starters. If we had to, like, legitimately, if someone turned around from like North Wrestling and was like, we're hiring you, but you need a gimmick, what the hell would we do? I'd be inclined to let you be the sort of
you can't put it on me.
No. I mean, let you be like the hard person. You know, like you're like the stoic
take
one,
all the bumps.
And I'm like the horrible manager who like grabs people's legs and stuff when they're like getting near the ropes, distract the referee.
Okay. Right.
Unless you've got some.
I mean, I'm fine with that. I'm happy to be the person, the stoic person that takes the bumps. You can be the mouth. You'd have to have something to hit people with, though, as well.
Yeah, I'd need a prop, wouldn't I? But I can't take like the megaphone because that's taken.
Have you got a drum skin?
An N64 controller.
Yes, you could keep some heads in with an N64 controller, especially with a 3-pronged attack as well.
I've got one to hand, of course I do.
Yeah.
I could wear it as like a necklace as well, you know, like coming in and like tick.
Yes.
And we could put it like nicely in the corner.
Swing it off. I'll have to think of what my gimmick would actually be, though. I don't know. I can't think. I would definitely.
You could go like full.
In the ring.
You could be Geordie Racer. release pigeons into the arena when you come in.
That's not a bad idea.
And then it comes back to you after the match is finished.
Yes. And then for the finisher move, I could set the pigeon out, like peck the other person's eyes out. And then I'd do like a Russian leg sweep or so, and they're not looking. Instead
of like moves on the thumbtacks, you throw out loads of bird seed, and then they're like, oh, the kernels, man.
have a sack under each boob, which I can just release.
Yeah. But then one of them is thumbtacks, though, because you're also
and you don't know which one.
Because you're also a deathmatch wrestler.
I'll give it that.
It could be like
I'm fat enough to absorb it.
It could be like Damien, where you throw like the bird seed on them, and then like the pigeons come and attack them.
Yes.
Like in Home Alone
or something.
Like in Home Alone 2.
Yeah. So we're writing this down. Is somebody at least writing this? Oh, we've got it recorded for posterity, so it's fine. We'll come back to it.
Okay, so but then if we did the Pigeon Lady Home Alone 2 gimmick, then I would need Chris to be with me, and we'd have to be like the wet bandits as the managers, sneaking about like the repo man in the background.
Oh my god.
It's a stable now.
The new Dangerous Alliance, but it's just daft people dressed in birdseed and with bird heads.
Yeah.
Burglar equipment. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that's our one pitch. The other pitches we just rip off the Dudley Boys entirely.
Fine. Who's going to be the one who puts elderly women through tables?
It's fine.
Is that going to be? Is that going to be either of us? Cool. Okay, I'll go with that as well.
Right, well, we're here with for WWF St. Valentine's Day Massacre, which was technically an in your house event.
The final pay-per-view that had the in your house used in the title, and
this
then
is
after
how
that
they
they just
ended it.
named them. Yeah, this is the last one where they had in your house St. Valentine's Day Massacre, because the previous ones were like in your house mind games or in your house Deasons Beatens, which is my favourite pun title of a pay-per-view.
I think
and then this was the last one that
I think I know why it's the last one, because the ring breaks at the end of it, and the man who comes out of the ring can't be contained in your house because he's too big.
Who could it be? And it's not the Yeti, if anyone's wondering.
Reese, is Reese here? Not yet, but maybe. Maybe next time. I can't remember. But this is a landmark for our little podcast because I believe it is our first one with, honest to goodness, Stone Cold Steve Austin with his full gimmick.
Yes, I think it is, because I think Halloween Havoc we had stunning Steve Austin. And
where he was thinning, but now we've got full bald Stone Cold Steve Austin fighting his boss. So for the honour of Steve, I'm going to crack open a beer.
Hold on, I've got an empty bottle of pop, which there are other versions available, there are other people available that do pop.
In honour of Steve Austin, I've got Aldi's own anti-establishment IPA.
Nice.
Oh, nice. It's so frosty. The can's so frosty. Can I even get it open? Maybe not.
You've got to do a hell yeah.
It's too slippy.
If you flick the hole, you got it. Okay. You got to squeeze it and pour it in your mouth.
I shouldn't I? Right next to all my equipment.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, let's not do that. Let's not ruin it when we just started.
Oh.
Flick the hole. Sorry, Kixie. Flick the hole. So if you've got a can and it's a bit fizzy and you've dropped it, if you flick where the hole's going to be a couple of times, it'll get rid of most of the fizz for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've seen people doing that, but I thought it was just like a compulsion. Like a little tap.
I do it because that is apparently what it does.
If
I've been lied to, then shit.
Yeah. But this is a fun one. It's got some crazy matches. I think we've both got our notes, so let's get into it.
Yes.
So it starts with a very weird oldie time sort of like flapper
Betty
song.
Boop.
Yeah, like
it's a Betty Boop tune. Now this is one thing I picked up on when watching some of the older stuff, particularly WWF around this time, is some of the intros and the music to the intros would be really left field stuff.
Yeah,
and
like
think, what is this? But then it would work because the theme or whatever. And this goes back to what we're talking about when we did the Halloween Havoc pay-per-view. Is that theme in the pay-per-views and that like run through of the stage and of the music and of like the match types and stuff. And I you wouldn't get that on a pay-per-view now. You just get some modern tune that wants to get in the charts. Whereas like then there was a bit of, I don't know, there was just a bit of personality and effort kind of put into the theme. And
no, you're right. It was artistry versus like we're gonna pay this band to make a song for us. This was like, no, well, we're doing a weird take on a love story between McMahon and Austin, as if they're crazy in love with each other, and so much so that they hate each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Like an old married couple. Eventually it does break down into giving us like the promos and stuff where it's like, Austin, if you can't win this match, your WrestleMania is taken away. And it's like, and they keep on saying the WWF will never be the same again, with like the demon voice.
I have noticed as well around this period when they did all the promo cuts and stuff, there was a lot of slight stuttering of them in slow mo. That sort of demon. and like the weird cutting between different things, and that obviously was the style of the time, but. I just thought it was interesting. It was different. I said, Betty Boop. And then a promo from these two old men.
Yeah. The music that came on after, like, when the commentator started was nothing to write home about. It was just like some, like MIDI guitar or something.
Yes.
But guess where we are? We're in the hometown of the worst commentator. We're only in Memphis in some kind of, like, pyramid. Like, what even is that?
The Memphis pyramid. It's very I don't know if Memphis is famous for pyramids or if there's a particular reason why it's a pyramid.
I think it's famous for being like as close to a carny town as you can get. It's like
certainly from wrestling perspective.
It's very much like glitz and glamour, but like on a budget, sort of like trying to be Las Vegas, but not quite, as far as I'm aware.
I did notice as well when the pan through the crowd, there was someone holding a sign really enthusiastically, but it was upside down.
Oh, you would hate that.
I was like, oh mate, you tried and you'd written and everything, you held up the wrong way.
You get your videotape like 6 months later. WWF silver screen or whatever it used to say.
Gutted, absolutely gutted for them, because people would have made like proper effort back then to sketch it out and stick them together if it was a big sign, make sure all their mates are in the right way and the whole up, but they put it up upside down, so rip them. I
think but my favorite commitment to the bit, I would say, for signs is those guys who write it on the tummies and you have to all stand up and be like
more of that, please.
What's our first match? Oh
my god, I forgot this match was even a fucking thing.
I did not know this man existed.
We were discussing this just before we came live. So I watched this not like on the day it happened, but like back in that time period when I was watching it.
Yeah.
I have never watched the whole pay-per-view in one sitting like together since then. I've watched a couple of matches here or there, like just on their own. I just completely forgot that one, this match happened, and two, that the Blue Meanie was in WWF at this point. I thought he was still hanging around like ECW or like the Independents. I totally forgot that this was a thing. So this match is Goldust, i.e. Dustin Rhodes, versus Bluedust.
Yep.
Who is the Blue Meanie doing Goldust but blue.
Yeah, but with like not the full outfit, just a wig.
No, just the wig, and he comes out. I believe he comes out in like a gown, but then he's just sort of him with pants on. I think does he even take the gown off? I think at the start of the match, he's still got the fucking thing on.
Yeah, but he's just got like shorts and t-shirt, like a shorts and vest sort of situation going on. But yeah, so first we have to mention that Jerry the King Lawler's voice is going because he's probably been partying too much the night before. And he's like, Blue Meanie's an ECW reject and stuff like that. So there must be like fresh out at ECW. I'm
trying to think. It was a Blue Meanie. I know Stevie Richards came along, but I don't know if he was he later in the year? Maybe it's because he come in and then was doing like the Right to Censor stuff.
Yeah, and I don't think I think some of that crowd didn't cross over because this is a very transitional period, I would say, because there's a lot of guys who are sort of have new gimmicks, but they haven't updated their outfits yet, and things like that. But yeah, so Goldust, if anyone doesn't know, is effectively a living Oscar statue that has come to life and started wrestling. He makes movie references, but he's also very creepy and androgynous at the same time, and he's painted gold and black.
So weird you see it, isn't it? You think, how do people engage with this?
And this was Dusty Rhodes' son, who used to wrestle as just a cowboy, good wrestler. And this is what he got natural. This is what he got turned into when he came over here. But he took it and ran with it, and it's kind of one of
he did.
It's one of the most popular Attitude Era gimmicks of all time now, just because of how crazy he made it.
It's so recognizable as well, and it was a hard gimmick to pull off, especially at that time. And he did it, and he just fucking went for it, and I thought he was great. And
his face paint's on point. He's still doing it to this day, and look him up, and you'll have never seen anything like it if you're not inclined. But so Bluedust is a shoddy looking blue version, a blue and black version. And again, it seems to be like he's just trying to make fun of him by stealing his gimmick. I did like the Titanic pose backstage.
Oh yeah, when he's like this on the settee. That was unexpected. Deeply unexpected.
His tummy looked very soft and shiny, that I noted. And he was completely blue. Because I don't think Goldust has the paint past his head, if I'm honest.
I think you're probably right. I think you're right. Yeah, I think the Blue Meanie did go the full hog. I mean, this as well. I think this whole storyline, because you see the bit of the intro where it shows you what's been going on. This smells so much of Vince Russo.
Yeah, being like, this will be funny, and then not really having a reason for it. Like, just
let's smash this together and then see how we go.
And then there's like, it shows you a part where I guess Bluedust dumped blue paint on Goldust. Like the lights went out, and then he blued himself, like in Arrested Development.
He blew himself.
Yeah,
that's Vince Russo. That's Vince Russo.
Yeah,
you just know it is with that sort of word play.
Yeah,
the one thing that was a bit off-putting, and I don't know if you noticed it as well, was on the commentary, obviously you had Jerry Lawler, which is fine. Michael Cole was commentating. There was no JR on this.
Michael Cole, with his voice like way up in the high register, like the entire night, being like, "King, look out! Something's happening, King!" I'm just like, "Shut up!"
And I know he was new at the time. I think he'd only very recently come in, and I know he'd done a few Raws and stuff like that. And I couldn't help but notice some of the phrases that he was using were very Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
So he was saying stuff like the most bizarre individual and talking about Goldust. And that is exactly what Vince McMahon used to say about him. And I'm sure he said, "What a maneuver," or something like that at one point during the match as well. And I thought, is Vince in his head telling him to say these things, or has he got them written down? But he clearly hadn't found his own voice at that point, and was essentially Vince talking in a different voice for this entire show.
Yeah, it would be interesting to know if Vince was in his ear, and then if you could track the point where Vince has to get ready for his match. And, and then the commentary goes on his own. I don't remember there being like a change in quality at that point, apart from it was obviously more dramatic just because the match was. Did you write down any sort of moves about this? Because I think all I've got is like Goldust starts it like hot, like it starts attacking him immediately, first chance he gets. The entrances are both beautiful, by the way. It's like the awesome music, and then they've got like colored glitter that rains down on the audience and stuff like that. Film grain. I did note that.
Put that. There wasn't. Sorry, no, you're fine. I did put that there was not that many moves, but there was some spanking and some butts.
Yeah.
Some spanking of the men's rear ends. I did write that down, and I did say Blue Meanie did a fantastic moonsault. When you think he's not a small man,
he missed it.
He's quite chunky. He missed. He missed it. It's a good point. He missed it, but it did look.
So that's the thing. There's a couple of wrestlers I want to ask you about, like this kind of thing tonight. Where I'm like, was he ever good? Like in ECW, was Blue Meanie ever like a good wrestler, or is he like a joke gimmick? Because I know he's famous for the dance. He kind of does that, like, silly, like, disco dance.
Yeah. I mean, I never really watched ECW loads back in the day, and I've watched bits and pieces here or there, and I've watched some pay-per-views. Blue Meanie, as far as I remember him being, tended to be with Stevie Richards. He used to be Stevie Richards and the Blue Meanie mainly.
Job Squad style.
and there were probably as normal for ECW as ECW was, so they weren't doing like Sabu, R.I.P. Sabu-esque matches or Terry Funk-esque matches or Cactus Jack-esque stuff where they're like just hoofing each other around with barbed wire and all that. But they definitely, he wasn't amazing, but he was definitely half decent and just a solid utility kind of wrestler.
Yeah, and his gimmick seemed to get over because I remember people talking about him. But yeah, I just wasn't sure if he was like a proper that he can really go and just never got a chance because Vince was famous for that. Like just not letting people have a proper go at things.
No, I just think he was pretty average. He was entertaining enough to watch, but he was never going to be like more
champion
than like
Blue Meanie. But yeah, so he misses his moonsault, and there's like Goldust gets all his classic moves in, like the drop to the ground, the sneaky low blows, and all that weird stuff. The Shattered Dreams is incredibly over in this time period. And I do remember kids on the playgrounds talking about the Shattered Dreams like it was like the top tier finishing move. It was just so it's the one way, if anyone hasn't seen, he puts you in the corner with your legs sort of tied up and then does a running crotch kick.
It just kicks you in the willy, and that's why it was so over, because there's a bunch of blokes out there going like kick him in the penis, and it was over and it worked, I like the fact he got the crowd into like baying for it a bit.
Yeah, because you can't do it in you can't do it in the match because you'll get disqualified. So he has to wait. Oh, it's very, very strange. But yeah, so I don't know why they opened the show with this, if I'm honest.
I don't know what even happened afterwards. I don't know if this continued. I cannot remember. I didn't even remember this match happened. I barely remember this storyline.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Dustin Rhodes leaves quite soon in 99 because he ends up going to WCW and doing that whole 7 gimmick, which did not go down well.
Okay. And I don't remember him wrestling a lot when like 2000 kicks off.
No,
so yeah,
he was definitely
right.
gone by 2000. Yeah. Definitely gone by the end of 99. So I think at this point as well, he kind of slipped down the card a bit. Because when he first came in, they gave him the IC title. Yeah. And he was always in the mix for that sort of stuff. And then, I think he just sort of slid down.
They would have him come in and unsettle like the manly men wrestlers, wouldn't they? And be like, oh, he's going to touch me.
Yeah, that's all a bit... but it's a shame because Dustin Rhodes is a good wrestler. The gimmick was interesting. It was different. But I think, he just slipped down the card. And then I think creatively he wasn't happy. And he just went, fuck yes, I'm off to WCW and see what I can do there.
Maybe we'll catch him on that flip side one day.
Possibly. Quite possibly.
But yeah, he wins, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember exactly what
was it not
does he hit the final cut? No, sorry.
Was it not a...
curtain call?
Oh, sorry, you're right. Goldust did defeat him. I thought it was a no contest for some reason, but no, you're right. It was Goldust did beat Bluedust. I think it was... Yeah, I think
his other finish is the final cut. No, the curtain call.
Curtain call.
The final cut's the Big Show's one of the Big Show's 4 alternate finishes, which I know all of. But yeah, okay. So then we get something that shocked me wildly. Shawn Michaels was on Heat, Sunday Night Heat.
Yes.
Like what were they doing? What did they used to do on this? Like they actually
I'm not being funny, but 1999, like 1998 to 2000 WWF was just mad.
Yeah.
Like it was just mad. It was like chaos. It was just...
Sunday Night Heat used to be the show where Blue Meanie would show up in main event. Do you remember Metal as well?
Oh, Jesus. I remember I never watched Metal.
I think that was like the Saturday morning one.
Yeah. But Sunday Night Heat was sometimes used to kind of warm up for the pay-per-views.
Yes.
As well.
Yes.
And I've definitely seen a couple episodes where they've had the bigger names at the time on. Yeah. Just doing a couple of things and a couple of matches. But yeah, Shawn Michaels, getting down to Heat and pissing about. Was he even wrestling at this point?
I don't know. And he was on his way out almost as well. He was like right on the tail end if he was still doing anything. But I never saw Shawn Michaels until he like returned in like, I don't know if it was like 2004 or something like that. Yeah.
With his soccer mom haircut.
Yeah, I just got in, totally missed him, and then only saw him in like old Undertaker matches and stuff like that, pretty much from '98 or whatever. Okay. But yeah, so back in this time, and I did find all of the Sunday Night Heats for 1999. They had the stars on there apparently. But yeah, this next match though, I absolutely have seen a million times because
I'm not surprised.
Because I had the Hardcore Volume 1 or whatever video cassette. This is Bob Holly versus Al Snow, the famous match where they get in the river.
The Mississippi River. It's 30 degrees out there.
Yeah. So this is what I was saying when I was like, this is a bit of a transitional pay-per-view because this is Bob Holly. And they're like, will he be able to get out of the shadow or like shirk off his Sparky Plug persona because he used to be like a race car driver. And this is him going out as a more like serious character, going out to get in some fights. So it was interesting.
I don't get that though because nobody had mentioned Sparky Plug. I don't
until
think,
the commentators did.
Until they brought it up.
Yeah. Because as a kid, there's no way in hell I would known anything about any previous gimmicks because I would have had to like find old magazines to see it. So yeah, they were shooting themselves in the foot because like the fans don't have a long memory and new fans can't watch old wrestling very easily. So just go with it, just roll.
Have you ever watched a Sparky Plug match, by the way?
No, but I've read the Hardcore Truth, his biography, where he talks about.
I was just
stuff.
wondering because his hair back then was.
You know what?
Something.
You know what's so sad about Bob Holly? He loves NASCAR so much. He still has race cars and stuff, like, you know, that he actually likes to drive. And he was so earnest and like with Vince McMahon about like taking everything seriously, and they almost sponsored him as a driver. He was gonna actually drive NASCAR as Sparky Plug with WWE's like branding on his car and stuff. It all fell through. So this is him basically trying to pick the pieces back up and be like, I don't know, how about I'm a deathmatch wrestler? How do you like me now?
I'll do some hardcore stuff. I think was Al Snow and Bob Holly, were they still part of the Job Squad at this point?
Yes, the talk about that this is kind of them. They're like, oh, you know, they're part of a squad, but when it comes to the hardcore title, like they're not friends at all. And this is also has an added layer of this is a vacant hardcore title because something's happened to Road Dogg's knee or something.
Yeah, got injured or something, so he's had to vacate the title, and then they're now vying for it. Yeah. Very odd. The hardcore title used to fucking change nearly every other week because they'd have it on Raw, because the whole point was the matches could happen at any point, at any time, and anywhere.
I don't know if it had the 24/7 rule at this point.
Not at that point.
No,
but it still changed like a fucking hot potato.
It would. No, you're absolutely right. Because I think the 24-hour thing was a Crash Holly gimmick.
Yeah, it was, because they had that bloody one in the ball pool or whatever, the Crash thing.
And it culminated in that giant half-hour-long match that had like 60 pinfalls or something, with all the guys just slowly lumbering around because there wasn't enough room for everyone. We'll have to get to WrestleMania 16 one day. The first one I got to see.
Was that
2000? Yeah, the one that has the video game, which I've got somewhere.
Never. Do you know what? That was another one I watched back then, but I haven't watched like all the way through.
Can I tell you a little story about why I haven't seen it all the way through? Because my tape fucked up right around the Kane tag team match, and it just scrambled away, and I've maybe seen the main event once when the network came out. But...
I mean, the main event's a bit of a weird one, but...
Oh, you mean the McMahon in every corner fatal four-way that I never got to see as a child?
So it's a weird match. It's just weird seeing Mick Foley back 6 weeks after he's like, I'm retired.
I'm Mick Foley. I have no gimmick.
yeah. Well, apparently he did retire and he didn't think he was coming back at all, and then he got a phone call about 2 weeks before WrestleMania and go, might need you back, and he's like,
we have a fourth McMahon with no corner.
Yeah, come back. We'll pay you this much. Oh, yeah, okay
then. So I wrote down that there's a brain scrambling chair shot immediately in this match, and you bet your boots it was Al Snow taking that shot.
Yeah, I mean Bob Holly didn't hold them chair shots, and
I would not like to take any kind of shot from Bob Holly. I saw how scary he was on Tough Enough.
Not even a working punch. Wouldn't even want to take a whistle from Bob Holly.
No,
it would be aggressive. What I did notice though, Al Snow, the head gimmick is still ridiculously over.
Yeah, but he didn't have the head. There was something about Goldust and Bluedust fighting over the head at some point.
The head at the beginning.
He did bring it in with him, but it wasn't part of the match at all, which is odd.
No. He brought it in and then just sort of put it down.
Yeah.
Well, as soon as he picked head up, I'd expect him to have used it, take it out to the river, douse it in water, and swing it around a bit.
Yeah, or like Bob throws it in, and he's like, no! Like floats down the river.
Not head.
Oh, see, we're fantasy booking.
But I admit, I used to quite enjoy Al Snow's matches, just because he was mad, and I was like, this is fascinating, even though he gets dunked on a bit because he was like a super mid-carder.
Yeah.
He never really got anywhere, and people always go, he doesn't draw a dime or whatever, and all that shit. But is a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, I should say. Then he was insane. I was like, this guy got shit drawn in his head, and
his music was class as well. Like I didn't obviously
prodigy sound and stuff in it.
I didn't get the Lou joke about it. Like what does everybody want? I was just like, yes, head, the mannequin head. Totally
no concept of
totally
Louise.
Innocent. But yeah, this I used to make. Okay, I'm going to tell you about my creator wrestlers from N64 wrestling games. one of them was called Ed Snow, and can you guess which moveset he ripped off? Yeah.
Oh, Jake.
Yeah, I can't remember what he looked like, but yeah, I used to make like Al Snow's friend.
Oh, gee. Oh, whatever gets you through the day, Jake. Is it a young'un? Ed Snow. He sounds a bit like a news reader. Ed Snow.
Edward Snowden.
Edward Snowden, yeah.
I've never told anyone that story before. I can't remember what my other kind of wrestler was. I definitely used to make someone who looked like a cross between like Test and the Undertaker quite often.
Just extremely long-legged man?
But those shiny pants.
With shiny PVC trousers on.
But more of a goth vibe.
Okay. So Albat, but thin.
Yeah, possibly. Okay. And I think I used to try and make... Yeah... Oh, I can't remember. Oh, like a Raven type guy, you know, like with the denim
grungy
shirt. Yeah, denim shorts and like black jacket and all that stuff. But I don't know what those were called. Probably like Raven, like Raven's flock guy. I don't know.
Flock guy. I'll just call him another bird like Sparrow.
Nightwing.
As well known as this match is, right?
Yes.
I felt like the crowd were a little bit mild for it.
Kind of, but also they go backstage, so you can't hear the crowd anymore.
That is also true. But they did pop at the entrances.
Yes.
And the chair shot got a big ooh when he took that chair. And the river thing, you could hear them like cheering in the background.
Did you see the little glass jar spot they did as well with the sugar glass? Like,
yes,
Bob just blew up a sugar glass right over his face. It was amazing.
It was. I think he does it later on. If I remember rightly, Bob Holly does something similar to the Big Boss Man in a match, and then it gets in his eye. It's still sugar glass.
Yeah,
not in this pay-per-view, but like another pay-per-view.
You know what?
In the future.
They fall back on that because they've got a fake candy jar that JR has on one of them that explodes over someone's head. He's like, my candy.
That might be the same one. I'll have a look back.
I think Bob Buchanan was in that match.
I did enjoy as well when they were going to the back. Grabbed the phone and went, it's time to reach out to talk to somebody, and then hit Bob Holly over the head with it.
Which I think is the Comcast like line or something like that. It's like the advert.
Reach out, talk to somebody.
Yeah. Al Snow's got a few little like cheeky lines when they're backstage, and like it's perfect because like the crowd noise dies down and you've got a few shouts and stuff, but like the wrestlers can actually talk to the camera at this point. So
and be heard.
He really uses the time like wisely. He breaks 4 mops over him, which I wrote down as well. That was pretty impressive. He's just like, another mop.
And then did Bob Holly smash floor tiles on Al Snow at some point as well? Ceramic tiles, I think.
And as an adult, I could really tell that stuff was strategically placed for them to pick up. But as a kid, I was just like, oh, they're just picking anything up. But now I'm like, oh, someone stacked up some logs there.
But it's fine.
Also, I saw Chris was in the chat earlier. They did say that Bob Holly used to be a welder. Chris is a current welder. So welder by trade is Bob Holly. So that means, ergo, it's Chris's favorite wrestler now.
I see. Okay.
He has to support the welding man.
Is Chris messaging Bob Holly for hints and tips, or they're not got to that point in the relationship
I would
yet?
love them to meet.
Can you imagine?
You remind me of Crash. I like that.
Oh God. My one criticism, I like hardcore matches. You know, I like the blood and the guts and all that nonsense. My one major complaint about this match is there is too much walking and leading in it, and I get they have to go from spot. Yeah, and I get they have to get from spot to spot, and they have to get to the river because that's the big payoff. Absolutely fine, but there's just bits of it where it's just 2 men having a walk together for quite a long time,
grabbing each other by the hair or the pants.
And again, I get that there's matches that go up the outside, and they go up the ramp, they come back down the ramp, fine. But I think it was just a bit too much in this match.
They had very far between the sort of the spots.
Yeah,
I just want to shout out Petter Brad's 85 in the chat because we are live. It said it's Taz that gets the candy jar. Oh, smashes Holly with the candy jar. Sorry, so Taz is the one who steals the candy. Candy thief Taz. My
candy. What was the Big
candy.
Boss Man one then? Maybe the Big Boss Man one was.
Big Boss
I
Man.
think it was in '99.
I was gonna say,
I think...
I'd bet your Boss Man's been hit with real glass at some point because he did anything back in the day.
I loved Big Boss Man. He was devious shit.
He's an evil bastard man with a heart of gold in real life, apparently. Oh, there's a great part where he smashes a stick over Bob Holly's back and it flies at the camera. I can't remember.
3D. The cameraman. Yeah. Oh, the road sign, that was quite good. Where it's going bonk.
The one where it was proper. It was like still attached to the stand, and he was probably just like swinging. God, yeah. They do end up in the river, of course.
Yeah. Which is great. And another thing that really disappointed is the ending, the finish. It was funny when he rolled him up, and that was hilarious. But his shoulders went down,
and he stayed trapped in it for like 5 more minutes because, as you were mentioning, Bob had to run back to the ring after this, doing a little dad run through the car park.
Oh,
and the referee had to run too. I can't remember which ref it was, but it was like the little guy with the beard, with the brown and white beard.
Oh,
Tim, maybe Tim White.
Is it? Was he fat?
A little bit, yeah. Is it Tim?
If it
Tim
was
White?
the big guy, it might have been Tim White. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but he was like, "I'm jogging with you too, Bob. Let's get back to the ring."
It wasn't well. They should have took the title out to the riverbank.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have forced him to come all the way back in. But then I suppose he wants the crowd to.
And did you notice as well? Holly had proto music as well that I'd never heard before. It was like it was like it wasn't like his regular like. It was like a weird like different rock song that had like a metal song that had going for him, but that just fell off the earth.
Interesting. Speaking of, just as a complete aside, speaking of weird entrance music, right? I was watching some wrestling in Discord yesterday, and someone suggested, I think it was the Angel Interceptor, suggested, get Dusty Rhodes' entrance from WrestleMania 6. I was like, okay. So I got it up because the WWE had put the whole thing up on YouTube, the whole show. And then I played it, and she was like, no, that's not the original one. They've obviously dubbed it over with these, the American, the
American Dream song, yeah.
That's it, yeah. They've dubbed it with that. And then she found the original that someone had uploaded. Dusty Rhodes at WrestleMania 6 came out to the Wheel of Fortune theme tune. The British Wheel of Fortune theme tune. And obviously because now it's copyrighted, it was dubbed over.
Right,
in
so
future,
it was stock, do you think, at the time?
I was like, what? It must have been. I was like, what the fuck is this?
It was stock. I just funny you should say that. Like the Bob Holly, the Hardcore Holly, and the Crash Holly music is also stock because that sometimes shows up on like sports montages and stuff.
Cactus Jack's WWF music.
No.
Before he did the car crash one, that was stock. That one.
Really?
That was apparently found on porn.
Oh, but that's such a cool track. I mean,
yeah, apparently it was anyway.
I'm fine with that because in my headcanon, Cactus Jack probably would go home to some porn on the night and be like, bang bang. He's like Mick Foley's dirtbag persona. That so yeah. I love that track. I will not seek out the original version of it then.
It was just really, because the only way I saw it was someone had uploaded on YouTube of them watching it on a tablet, so it's really quiet
seedy
and fuzzy. But it's so bizarre seeing Dusty Rhodes coming out on a crane on like a cherry picker after Randy Savage to the Wheel of Fortune.
Hardy Boyz is another famous one that has stock music, because that sometimes shows up like the that one.
Hey, make do and mend.
Yeah,
that's what I say. It's good enough, just use it.
Oh, that stick though, that was a good spot. I did laugh out loud.
That was funny.
Bob Holly, Al Snow's still stuck on the fence, and he's like, "Get me out of here!" Like from a cartoon character.
Some of these hands are stuck here, so he's like a turtle on his back, sort of. Just so, it's embarrassing.
That would have never happened to Ed Snow. Let me tell you, he would have hit the Phoenix Splash like mid-match. Off the vending machine.
Oh god.
Oh, this next part. It's a meeting of the cool guys. Undertaker
the
Ministry
of Darkness.
How did I think this was cool when I was a kid?
What I thought was cool. This is before it was the corporate ministry, so this is when it was cool.
Yeah, it still looks like a meeting of like divorced dads, though.
Divorced leather dads around a campfire. And what I noticed was this the first time. I think this is the first time where the Undertaker had to be wordy in his promos.
He's so bad, isn't he?
And you can really tell that this is not his comfort zone. He's used to Paul Bearer speaking for him, or just standing around looking very intense and having his gloves on. At. He's classed at it. But then as soon as he tries to emote. And sort of try anything complex.
Yeah, you can see him thinking about his phrases, can't you?
He's not on the level of British Bulldog, who genuinely looks like he can't do two things at once, like think and speak. But yeah, he's not great. I mean, he gets better. I think he gets better when he does a bit more of the comedic stuff, like Kurt Angle, like in 2000 and onwards. But I
was gonna say it takes him years of being American Badass to like actually be good, because there's a good year where he's terrible at that too. It's not until he turns heel and does like big evil sort of stuff that's when it gets better, because he's like he can act more when he's a heel, because he can like take shots and be more emotive, because he doesn't have to be stoic and cool. That he was maybe never cool according to what we see. And this is Mideon, him sending these. That's what they're talking about. They're like, Mideon, you will fight the big boss man and take his soul and all that stuff.
And then Viscera's like, and who else is there? Viscera, Mideon,
everybody, the acolytes are there.
That's it. Farouk and Bradshaw are there for now.
Is that it?
I think is there not somebody else?
Oh, the Brood.
The Gangrel's there, and
Edge and Christian. There? They're both there.
That must have been super brief though, because I don't remember them being part of the ministry that early on. That must have just been, we'll put them in there because they're brand new. We'll see how they get on. 6 weeks later, we'll get them out there. The Brood are getting over.
And then we'll give Gangrel the mic and he'll be like, hey, it's me, Gangrel.
Like Mideon, right? Why did they choose Mideon? I'd rather have seen Viscera and that's in Stomach.
He's another one where I was going to ask you, was Mideon ever good?
No.
Like, did he used to have more of a cowboy gimmick or something?
So he used to be, so I've noticed him popping up in different places when I've been watching old wrestling. So in WCW, he was, I believe, Tex Slazenger.
Slazenger. That's such a
which is like a cowboyish gimmick.
That's such a bad name for the commentators to say.
And then I think he left. And then when he come to WWF, he was one of the Godwins. I believe he was Phineas Godwin.
Right.
And they're the hog farmers. Yeah. And they would have the slop bucket and they would, full of semen and coleslaw or whatever. And then Henry Godwin, who was his tag team partner, I believe had to retire because he got injured and broke his neck or something and couldn't continue. So he then became Mideon after that, I think.
Yeah, or maybe then, I couldn't remember if Undertaker named him Mideon.
Possibly, but it was Mideon basically from then on in. But he was like obviously, in the ministry, and then he in later 99, early 2000, he became Fake Mankind. So that was when Triple H was trying to goad Mankind into a match and all that sort of stuff. And then he became the naked Mideon thing.
He did.
And for me, he was just never it. I never liked the Godwins. I never really liked watching his matches. The one thing I did note about him in this is obviously he's unbearably blech. And he had Seth Rollins' hair before Seth Rollins did.
Yeah, he had the little blonde streak, didn't he?
The blonde streak. So is Seth Rollins taking inspiration from Mideon? There's a question for you.
I hate to say this about him, but he looked smelly.
That's what I wrote.
Yeah. But the thing is, right?
Looks like he stinks.
The thing is, right? Why didn't Undertaker has a cool outfit, right? Undertaker doesn't come out in sweatpants with like, a top on. He's got like a full on like, studded like singlet thing, or like whatever you call like a friggin' like a leather armor.
Daddy look.
Yeah, but it's like it looks like armor. Like, so why doesn't the rest of his ministry have like cool, like fantasy looking gear?
the ministry might be low on funds.
Yeah. Mideon, you need to win this match, otherwise we don't get paid.
We don't get paid again, and the ministry will close. But I did. The one other thing I didn't get about this match, the jaw with the eye in it.
Yeah, because his eye, the eye must have been his gimmick, like the third eye, because he does have something like, he's got the Undertaker sign on his, but did he used to have an eye? I'm vaguely remembering that. Like the third eye.
It has no impact on anything in this match.
I don't even know what Mideon's voice sounds like to do an impression.
It doesn't really talk.
I feel like he would show you his crystals after a date. He's that kind of guy.
Yeah,
this one wards off the Undertaker.
I also did enjoy, there was somebody towards the beginning of the match who shouted, "The ministry sucks ass," very loudly.
Yeah, and I was inclined to agree with that random shouter. We didn't even talk about that. He's fighting Boss Man in his full black like SWAT gear. He's full in this gimmick at this time period.
He looks fucking intimidating. The way he swings that nightstick, I'll be terrified.
Oh yeah, and what you don't realize about Boss Man, because he always like fought tall guys, like he's huge, like he's tall and wide. So yeah, if you saw him in real life, you'd be like, "Holy crap!"
Yeah, big boy.
Yeah.
Big
he's
lad.
Brutal as well. Like his punches are super hard. I would not like to be in the ring with him, even though he was supposed. Sorry.
He was very old school though, I think, and he doesn't. I think he didn't pull his punches. No, that's a lie. I think he made them look very real. They were very snug punches. I think is a good way to put it.
Another thing that confused me was like, okay, so Boss Man is the corporation's heavy, like the muscle.
Yes.
One, why do they need two evil factions at the same time? And two, why are they fighting? like I know they were sort of trying to wrest control from each other, but they're both bad guy factions. I don't know. Just felt weird.
Yeah, that's a fair point, because the ministry had the whole thing with Stone Cold where they try to crucify him.
Is that not at WrestleMania? The one they're leading up to where they start crucifying people,
possibly,
or hanging people.
I mean, God, yeah, it was Big Boss Man gets hung, doesn't he? At WrestleMania 15, there, that's right.
By Taker.
So yes, so maybe they.
They were kind of over.
Bad?
I did hear some crowd cheering for the Goths, because there was plenty of Goths in '99, and this was all they had for entertainment. Like until Buffy came on the TV.
I think at this point the ministry was kind of a mild babyface.
Yeah.
It's when they became the corporate ministry, I think, is when they turned proper heels.
Yes, because the higher power turned out to be Vince all along.
Vince the whole time, It was me, whereas Boss Man is with the corporation, so he is by default the
more evil.
Sadly, Boss Man is the better wrestler and better to watch than the babyface in this match. So thusly, I give a shit more about him.
Yeah,
and not Mideon.
He does win with his Boss Man slam, but they haven't got a name for it yet. They're like, the slam, he used his own momentum against him, and I'm like, yep, that's the Boss Man slam.
Yeah, well done, Michael Cole.
It's not the most impressive looking thing, like with modern eyes, but it's a legit, it's a finisher. That's how he gets the job done.
He drops you. It hurts.
Yeah,
probably.
I think in modern times you would have to do a couple more spins, and get like a whirlwind effect going on. But I like him. I've always liked the Boss Man just because he was like the naughty wrestler who could do anything and never got like any comeuppance for it.
Because he's the law. There were some sadly some boring chants I had for this match.
Yes,
as well. Quite rightly. I
think there was a couple of times the boring chant kicked in. I don't know if I wrote them both down. Oh no, I did write it down on this one for sure. All the lads running at the end, the ministry lads. Yes, because the Boss Man won the battle, but Taker wins the war. And they carry him off. They just carry him off, but then he's back. He must be back for WrestleMania, so nothing really happens to him.
It was one of those matches where I think they looked at it and went, we need to fill the card. We need to do something with these two factions.
They clearly wanted Taker to come out as well, but I'm guessing he didn't want to wrestle because he was struggling with injuries around this time, off and on. I think.
Yes, I think you're right. I think he had a potentially groin issues.
And he's always had knee issues because he's one of the OGs, and he's been wrestling way too long. I noticed as well, he had his funeral march music. This is, again, they're in transition phase because he doesn't have his like weird Christmas Undertaker music, like the with like his talking on it. Which that was my favorite as a kid. When I had like the WWF CD, I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna listen to Undertaker theme song.
Vibing with the Christmas tunes. I thought that these first 3 matches have been like the Al Snow Bob Holly one had some fun bits in it, but they've not been good matches.
No, they've had characters like to look at, but not they weren't doing much to get you going. No. I did really, however, like this next one though.
Yes, this is where it felt like there was something there. It was a bit more cohesive, and it was
maybe they should have kicked off the show with this match, like just maybe. But this is D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry, who I'd forgotten that were in a full-on tag team. I knew they were like backstage friends a lot of through this period, but this is Jeff Jarrett and Owen Hart, which whatever.
I love these two.
We'll go with
I love these two together.
Do you like Jeff? Do you like Jeff Jarrett overall?
Okay, so I have a love-hate relationship with Jeff Jarrett. I think I didn't like him in WCW in 2099 because I thought he was a pain in the arse.
The slap nuts era.
Yeah, no, but the thing is, I like the gimmick, as in the guitar slap. That's fun. That's great. That's hilarious. I did like him in this period because he was a heel.
Yeah,
and he was just a spiteful little git.
Yeah, and his hair and stuff really sets it off.
The glasses. And the don't piss me off. And I was like, if that was what Jeff Jarrett did most of the time, I'd really enjoy that. I think it really fitted he did it really well. And I think the fact that people naturally didn't really like him because they seen him as like a nepo wrestler essentially, and hated the fact that his dad helped him with everything. His dad did X and his dad did whatever. So obviously his dad, Jerry Jarrett, massive promoter and all that sort of thing, and that I think that was perfect because it was like he was rejecting all that shit and just going, fine, fuck yous all, I'm going to be here and I'm going to win titles and you can't do anything about it, don't piss me off, sort of thing. And that's the Jeff Jarrett that I really like watching. I don't mind his little AEW run that he's been doing like last year and stuff. That's been canny, but that for me was when I was like, I like him, he's good, he's entertaining. Rest of these career, I'm very ambivalent towards, to be honest.
Yeah, I do like that he's got the figure 4 because, as I've said before, that's a heel finisher because it's designed to be flipped over and reversed on the heel, so you get the big pop. But as a kid, I thought he was really cool because, I'd totally missed... I basically got in just after this period, so I hadn't seen any of the classics, didn't know whose was whose dad. So Jeff Jarrett was my introduction to the figure 4 leg lock as a maneuver, and I was like, "That's really cool." He's made his leg into a 4. That's really cool.
Wow!
But I'll tell you what, though, his outfits, I think, really attracted me to him and to sort of enjoy it more as a kid because I was like, this guy's got sparkly silver pants on and wild sunglasses, and he smashes guitars over people. Say what you will about the guy in his wrestling, but he had a look, and he clearly worked hard on that. No one else looked like that at the time. I didn't like it when he had those long white straps, though. He sometimes came out in.
No, where it looked like a Chinese lantern thing.
More of a cowboy.
Used to make at school.
Yeah. 10 gallon.
What's weird is in WCW when he later went there in late 99, 2000, the gimmick isn't too dissimilar. The slap nuts in WCW is not that dissimilar, but I think because in WCW he was pushed and he was at the top of the card, it didn't work. I don't think it worked much better when he was in the mid card.
And I seen him in TNA a bit, and I know that was another case where he owned part of the company, so it was another he's putting himself at the top. But again, I didn't mind him because I think because we're English, I think the silly angry cowboy gimmick just works for us a bit better, I'm more inclined to just let him be there and be like, well, he's a classic American wrestler, like the cowboy.
I'll admit I didn't see much of Jarrett's TNA. I didn't really watch TNA that much.
It was just because
I've heard it's decent.
It was just because he kind of put himself in the main events and stuff. But that's what everyone was doing because, like, you know, Hogan and Flair came back and Mick Foley and
Dusty Rhodes did the same, and
yeah.
He put himself in the middle of stuff when he used to book things. Ric Flair did it.
And then he got into selling gold on the internet. Jeff Jarrett did with his Global Force gold and like weird credit cards and stuff like that.
Have you heard that he's part of a takeover or a buyout of Acclaim, the game studio?
I've heard some rumblings about some wrestling game crossover weirdness happening, yeah, but I hadn't like fully looked into it. There's always been the weird Billy Corgan link as well. he's a
strange fish.
He's a rich wrestling fan, crazy person. But yeah, like, and when D'Lo shows up and gets on the mic, it was like a breath of fresh air. So I was like, here's someone who can do a promo.
Yeah, D'Lo. I think D'Lo's really underrated. He's really underrated as a wrestler. And again, I think people, especially now, people always complain and piss and moan when their favorite wrestler's not in the title runs or in the top of the card or in the big main events and stuff. But there are just some wrestlers who are good, who are just great in that middle area. And D'Lo Brown is a fucking perfect example of somebody who just gets the assignment, is a really good wrestler. Yeah. Got opportunities. I think he was a European potentially championship holder and whatever. Yeah. And he just swam around in that mid card and he was great. He was a great character. He had good matches. He was fun to watch, fun to listen to, and he never got pushed higher than that, and that was fine. And I still enjoyed watching him. It doesn't need to be people perpetually getting pushed up and up all the time. Sometimes there's just people around the middle that are just fucking fun to watch. And
you can't like funnel everything to the top, because I think that's when people start to get annoyed. Like fans get annoyed, and the wrestlers themselves kind of be like, oh well, when's my shot type of thing. But yeah, he also has super unique moveset, which was that's valuable to children who want to try and do the moves and do his like arm movements and stuff.
And his wobbly head that he used to do.
But yeah, like, you know, he's got that classic, like, what do you call like that wheel kick thing where he like flies upwards and like hits you on the way past, like a drop kick, but he kind of flips over.
It's
awesome,
a bit Inzaguri-ish, but it's like, not quite.
Yeah, it's like a crescent kick or whatever they call it or something.
It does look cool.
But he does that sky high thing as well a few times in this one. The thing where it's like the big lifting powerbomb thing.
That looks fucking great. That powerbomb he does looks fantastic.
He doesn't get to hit the low down, does he? I think he gets distracted by Debra.
No,
because there's a whole Debra versus Ivory sub story in this one.
Yeah, subplot going on, and potential boobs being exposed, but never are.
Yeah.
I did it as Mark Henry as well. Mark Henry, again, was the one who I never really watched much of. I saw that much of.
I didn't take him seriously as a kid. I'll tell you that much. But watching him now, and after seeing what he became in the Hall of Pain gimmick, I'm like, oh, that guy was legit. They just gave him a really silly gimmick back when I was a kid.
Sexual chocolate was a bit of fun.
Yeah, and he gets to do the Valentine's thing with Ivory and be like, here's the flowers and chocolates, and nothing goes wrong, and no embarrassing things happen to anyone.
And then he had that lovely run where he was engaged to Mae Young. And then she gave birth to a hand.
Not
and
long
all
after
that
this,
sort of thing.
Or 1 year, I guess 1 year on from this.
There was a strange comment, however. Michael Cole said, I believe this was about Mark Henry, he is childlike when it comes to women.
Yeah, and they were like, oh, he'll do anything for a woman. But that's the wrong phrase in Michael Cole. Have you ever had a date, Michael Cole, at this point?
I was like, no, let's not do that. And another thing, I just want to say Owen Hart. I fucking love Owen Hart.
Yeah, this must have been tail end of his run. Like, you know,
it was. He passed away 3-4 months later. So this is where he was a heel.
That close to it. Yeah,
that close. It was May. I think May over the edge 99. I think it was May. I think that's when he passed away. So this is February. And I just at this point he was he'd been in with the Nation of Domination as the Black Heart, and then left there, and he was just basically around that mid card doing the heel work. And then he teamed up with Jeff Jarrett, and I loved the two of them together because they were just two pissed off,
two nasty
heels.
men.
Two nasty men had been trampled by the business in various ways, and were saying, fuck it all, I'm gonna come and piss about and be a heel. And the Nugget chant, I've never heard that before on a pay-per-view, and this is the first one where I've noticed him getting the Nugget chant.
And you used to have it as part of his music, didn't he? Where it'd be like, I'm not a nugget at the start of his song. I think that there's a quick line on commentary to explain that it's kind of like they've decided to join forces as like we're the best guys in the locker room, therefore we should join forces and rule the tag division, which is always fun when the heels think they're better than everyone else. And wrestling wise, Owen is better than a lot of people.
Owen is so good, such a good wrestler, and such a good, like, his facials and he's like acting. And he takes bumps super well and sells really well as well.
Did you notice how well their like tag team chemistry was? Like how well they were doing the double team moves and stuff.
Absolutely,
there was a lot of them, which I was very happy about.
It's good distraction work because obviously they've been the heel team, they've distracted the ref and getting their shots in and stuff. Owen and Jeff were just two blokes who knew
really
what the fuck they were doing.
Yeah,
they knew what they were doing. They were really experienced. They knew their ABCs, and they just made it work really effectively. And they did nothing that was spectacular.
No,
when you look at it, they just were just good. They were just good.
And how did the match end? We got a guitar shot to the knee, because I think they'd been working on D'Lo's leg a little bit, and he was in the figure four at some point. Or was it Mark Henry? Sorry, that took.
It was Mark Henry that took the knee shot. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because he was gorilla pressing him, wasn't he?
That's
or
right.
about to, and then they slammed him down.
And he fell ever so gently to then put Owen down safely.
Because he's a safe
and then
worker.
The pin. He's a good lad.
I put down that. Oh, sorry, it was a guitar to the knee and then a figure four to finish it off to be like, you'll never break this because your knee hurts too much. I wrote down as well that Jerry's. There was a couple of times where I was like, he's using Beavis's like speech patterns, if you know what I mean. Like he's like, kick him, and stuff like that. And I don't know if Jerry was watching Beavis and Butthead or if it's like some kind of like universe crossover.
I cannot think of a conceivable parallel universe where Jerry the King Roller watched Beavis and Butthead.
Are you sure though?
No, I think he was too busy watching. To me, he's the kind of person that watches like church ministry on television.
Nobody's evil though.
Yeah,
and he likes young girls. We're like, I've got cable television. You can watch whatever you want. I like this Beavis character. I noticed he did drop a line about Andy Kaufman, like Jim Carrey, like Man on the Moon thing, because he talked about him spitting on him or whatever on that chat show. I like how Jerry's got like, you know, his own chronology of his own like backstory that he keeps.
I mean, he's a dirty old bastard, but he's a good commentator.
He was funny when you were a kid before you knew about the horrors.
When you thought, oh no, actually everything he says is quite pervy.
Yeah. I bet this next part made you sad, where Mankind got beat up on the stairs.
It's like, I've seen this before, and then I'd seen that bit before where he was training on the stairs with his trainer, and then he gets attacked by, I think, is it The Rock with a pedal bin?
Yeah, is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah, I never realised though that Iron Sheik is behind him, going blah, and then there's a clip later where it runs a bit longer, and Bob Backlund's at the top of the stairs.
Yeah, why didn't Bob Backlund help? He's a crazy murderer.
Strong man.
We've seen him.
But yeah, I like this little vignette because it sets up the whole Mankind's knees fucked for the next match. Yeah. Well, they're not the next match, but their match later on.
Oh yeah, because
obviously
they do replay it a bit later.
Yeah.
This is the first chance we've got to talk about like some of the Rock's stuff. I've always thought his stomps looked really silly. I called them the wiggly kicks.
The wiggly shoes.
Yeah. But he does it on the stairs to him, you know, like to try and finish him up. And I'm like, stop it.
My issue with them, they do look weak. And then you compare them to Stone Cold's, where he looks like he's actually putting his foot into people's chests.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Rock's always looked a bit tippy-tappy, I think is the best way to put it. Yeah, they weren't the best stomps, but he got away with it by being charismatic, didn't he? Having the people's elbow.
Oh my god, this next match is absolutely insane, though. We've
got the backstory to this.
We got Ken Shamrock versus Val Venis, and the recap is absolutely incredibly insane. I am very glad that I looked up and found out this is not his real sister, because there was a few minutes where I was a bit worried about how sort of weird this was.
Well, no, Jake, before you get into it, they originally, and Ken Shamrock has said this, it was originally going to be an incest storyline between him and his sister.
Right, so he's trying to stop her dating Val because he wants her type of thing.
Well, I don't know exactly, but apparently Ken Shamrock was like, fuck no, like, I'm not doing an incest storyline, so I think that's when they changed it. And maybe this has like little bits of it still left in,
possibly, yeah.
Because I might have put some breadcrumbs out there beforehand, but yeah, it's still a very strange angle. I think it's just meant to show Ken is a really like possessive and frightening man, and obviously he's the heel in this as well. So, but yeah, it's very yikes. I think you crack on and you can explain it.
And if anyone doesn't know, so Ken Shamrock is a crazed MMA fighter who's been let loose in the wrestling company. That's his gimmick. Val Venis' gimmick, on the other hand, is that he is an active porn star who has also decided to wrestle at the same time, I guess. Oh.
We watched this as kids.
And as a kid, I thought he was a funny, silly man, but now when I watch it, I'm like, this is filthy. Like, you know, like his voice and everything it's just so seedy. I never really got into the Val Venis gimmick thing because obviously it wasn't really made for me. I don't think. I don't know if it was made for young boys either, because like he doesn't do anything. He just kind of makes suggestive comments and then has a normal wrestling match.
It is a strange gimmick.
Would you like to make it even stranger?
Go for it.
Billy Gunn is the special guest referee for some reason.
Mr. Ass. Was he Mr. Ass at this point?
Yep.
Yeah, I think he was, yeah.
Badass Billy Gunn. Obviously we've already heard Road Dogg's out of action, so yeah, why not, Billy? You can just do this. He was a good special guest referee though, because he was heel about it.
Yeah, he pissed about, and yeah.
That just
he did piss about.
I am a big mark for the special guest referee as long as it's a heel. Like special enforcer, nice guy does nothing for me. But when it's he's missing his cues to go count the pin because he's just looking. He's like, oh, hang on a sec, and then he's like, whoa, like pretending to hurt his arm. Like after
the really slow counts and stuff like that.
And there was an absolutely hilarious bit where I think Val had Ken in like a submission, like a camel clutch, and he was like, ask him, ref, and he was like, ask him what?
Yeah. He was the best thing in this match. Like,
yeah,
I like Ken Shamrock.
Yeah.
But I think watching this match, and I'm pretty sure Ken Shamrock doesn't stay much longer.
No, I think what you said makes him sort of quit when they're like, oh, incest angle. He's like, this company sucks. I'm getting out.
Yeah, and I think, sorry for saying me, I think at this point you can kind of see he's a little bit checked out. He still, don't get us wrong, he still, gives energy, does his thing. But he also looks very cut compared to what he looked like when he first came in.
Yeah.
I reckon at this point he might have an idea that he's not staying and he's cutting to get into MMA shape again.
Yeah.
Or UFC, whatever he did.
He was so over though. Like, kids on the playground, like ankle lock was like, devastating maneuver that you'd be like, oh, well, no one gets out of the ankle lock,
Yeah.
That's why Kurt Angle took it later on, because it's like, it's iconic and... It's like, we missed it. And he was like, yeah, I'll take that move.
Yeah.
I can't remember who wins this one. I'm very sorry.
I believe Val wins this match.
With the distraction.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. He wins this match. So what did I write about this match?
Ryan Shamrock is the sister. The too sexy sister.
So to me, Val Venis is like is like a Poundland Rick Rude.
Yes.
It has the same ilk of it, because Rick Rude was meant to be a stripper. It's like a slightly strippery gimmick.
Who would steal your girlfriend.
Who would steal your girlfriend and all that. Where then you got Val, who's a porn star, who's kind of got that same kind of I'll steal your girlfriend sort of attitude. But Rick Rude is an amazing wrestler. Val Venis is, I would say, pretty average wrestler. Not bad, not great, but, you know, decent, serviceable in the ring. Rick Rude was just had charisma for days.
Yeah.
As well. In the ring, out the ring, he had a mustache that looked cool as fuck as well.
He was much taller than Val, I feel like, or he at least gave off that aura that he was big, you know. He
had an aura, he had a really good gimmick, he had a good wrestling style. He had, you know, he wasn't the best promo person, but he had a very simple style of he'd go in, insult the crowd, call them sweat hogs, crack on with the match.
Yeah, it just worked.
Just be good. And I just, Val Venis was almost like try to distill about 10% of that.
And he'd be like, hello, ladies. You know, ladies. Something about balls, and then just like start the match. Then the other person would come in. Like that was basically his gimmick, was like say a naughty phrase that wasn't quite the exact words.
Dude, innuendo.
I'll be doing it all night long. Like that kind of thing.
What I did find out as well is that I felt like Ken Shamrock and Val Venis didn't have any chemistry.
No,
in the ring.
I almost felt like they really hate each other, like which they very well might have.
And then I got to thinking about, did Val Venis have chemistry with anyone in particular in the ring? Ken Shamrock and The Rock were great in the ring together, because I've watched a few matches.
Yeah, as far as I remember, the best Val run is when he was a bit more of a serious thing, and he nearly wins the King of the Ring. I think he has a really good match with Rikishi. Funny enough. Is that
when he was in Right to Censor, or was that before he joined Right to Censor?
It was either right after or during, because it was short hair, I think. But it might have been.
He joined Right to Censor with short hair, I think.
Okay.
When he joined,
they cut his hair. Yeah. But yeah, he has a really good King of the Ring match with Rikishi.
Okay.
Which I would seek out. So you can go.
I think that's 2000.
But yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe these guys were just bad for each other, you know, and it just kind of.
Yeah, they just didn't have. They just felt like you were watching two men that didn't didn't gel. In the ring.
I remember what happened. Billy Gunn kind of ends the match because Shamrock pushes him, and then Billy Gunn like hits him or something with, I don't know if there's a weapon involved, but then he does a fast count on him, and then Shamrock goes mental. Yeah.
Oh, and as well, don't forget, this is the match where you get the Newcastle shout out, the Telly West Arena.
This is how distracted me and Sloop were. Like, you know, we were just listening to the Michael Cole talk about the tour, and he's like, yeah, the Newcastle Telly West Arena, the Attitude Adjustment Tour, which is John Cena's finishing maneuver. And I was like, oh hell yeah, I need to look into this show. So I've got the card, I've got the match card. So this was 3rd of April 1999, or it might have been 4th of March. I can't tell which way this website does it. But not long after what we've just watched, and yes, it was the Telly West Arena. It's just labeled as a house show.
Okay, so not going to be the best quality then.
No. So first singles match: Al Snow defeats the Brooklyn Brawler.
Oh wow! They even flew the Brooklyn Brawler over. Amazing.
World Tag Team match: Jeff Jarrett and Owen Hart defeat the Brood, Edge and Gangrel with Christian.
I'd watch that. That sounds quite good, to be honest. I'd watch that. Okay.
So then next, Ivory defeats Jacqueline, which was probably a good match for a house show. Hardcore Championship: Hardcore Holly defeats Val Venis. So yeah, it's the same wrestlers, kind of. Oh my god. Apparently the Road Dogg is back by this time, because you get the tag match of the New Age Outlaws defeat Goldust and Blue Meanie, so they became friends after this show.
Continuity. I wonder what the background was to that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
there's an X-Pac defeats D'Lo Brown match, which was probably really good, because they're
a lot
both...
of kicks in that one.
Yeah.
Kicks.
Apparently then Kane defeats Ken Shamrock in a singles match, which, okay.
I can't imagine how that would go.
This next one's Sorry,
give you the length of that match? Sorry,
no, there's no.
Okay.
There's no length or anything. Where is it? Okay. I should cite the source. This is from cagematch.net. Thank you very much, Cage Match. Then it's Undertaker versus Triple H, with Undertaker going over that one.
Wow. Okay.
The next singles match is The Big Show defeats The Rock by DQ, whatever that means.
Ooh, interference, probably.
I'm gonna hit you with a chair, you big son of a bitch.
That's not a bad card.
It's not over yet. There's still the world heavyweight title match, which is Austin versus the Big Boss Man with Gerald Briscoe and Pat Patterson.
Oh my god, that sounds like nonsense.
So yeah, that
Big Boss Man got a shot at the title.
Yeah, and he had the Stooges with him.
Amazing. Makes sense. He's in the corporation. I would have went to that show in a heartbeat if I knew it was on.
Kixie's raising a good point. What was Val doing in a hardcore match? No idea.
They didn't know what to do with him. They didn't know what to do with him at that point, I don't think.
How do you like Bob Holly?
You want to get hit in the face extremely hard by an Alabaman man? Yes, I do.
I wonder what his Hello Ladies talking to Newcastle would have been like.
Ladies. Ari Pets. Something like that.
Right. This is where we get that weird Mr. Socko t-shirt thing.
My favourite. It was such a strange.
You know and love him. It's the sock.
It's such a weird advert though. Like, I don't even understand what the t-shirt's in. The adventure begins.
Yeah, did I grab a screenshot of it? I know I sent it to you.
Yes.
I might have deleted it. Shame on me. But yeah, it was like a weird inspirational sock message with Mr. Socko on.
It didn't make any sense.
I didn't like Mr. Socko's face as a kid because I think he's quite scary.
I hate to break this to you, but it's a sock on the hand of a man.
But it looks filthy.
How can it be
though.
Scary?
It's it looks like Gordon the Gopher if he was melted.
I think he used clean ones. I don't think he gets sent a dirty McFoley sock that he's had in his hand for 14 weeks.
You would love that.
I think he'd get a clean one. No, I think he'd get a clean one and sign it or whatever.
Kept them in his pants, Sloop. They were all dirty.
Oh no.
There's no sock in my crotch, as Triple H said once for some reason.
But yeah, that was one of the strangest adverts for a sock-based t-shirt that I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It was just proper haphazard. I didn't understand what it was saying.
They were trying to get it over, I guess. Maybe it worked. There was a lot of kids who loved the sock.
But I don't Right, I'm going to have a look for this sock. Right?
I thought you were going to pull out a Socko there.
I don't have a Socko.
Mr. Socko.
That's all right. I'm going to find it, right? So it says there, it's on Etsy, right? It says on it, it's an adventure. Then there's a picture of the sock. Mr. Socko. What? What does that fucking mean? What does that mean? And it's on it. Fucking hell! Do you know how much they're charging on Etsy for it? £395.34.
Yeah, we almost came together as a Discord on your side of things and tried to recreate this shirt.
T-shirt printer.
We could do it.
No. I don't understand the messaging of the T-shirt. It's an adventure. What's an adventure? The sock's an adventure? It's an adventure with the sock? I don't understand.
Like a road trip with Mr. Socko, but then it crashes because the mankind noise. But anyway, screw that sock. It's time for DX.
I like this match.
It was really fun. It had a lot of my favorite guys in, in a weird combination. But
yeah. So
the portion of DX that we have left, who hasn't been out tonight or injured, is Triple H and X-Pac. Yeah. They're going to take on Kane and Chyna, which is a very odd pairing. But they do explain why Kane is here.
Yeah, so am I right in thinking Chyna? So it's weird seeing Triple H as a babyface because he's technically the babyface with X-Pac in this match.
Yeah,
so
angry
Chyna's
90s babyface, but yeah,
like an ironic babyface.
Yeah.
There's a bot in chat if you want to get rid of it.
I'll delete him.
Best viewers. So Chyna's the is with the corporation now. That's why she's heel. She turned on Triple H and
money,
punched him in the crotches. Yeah, punched Triple H and X-Pac, I think, in the dicks, if I remember rightly.
Oh, she hits everyone in the dick a lot in the promo, and it has that proper gunshot sound as well, doesn't it? Like,
yeah. And you can explain Kane, because I know Kane's your boy. You can explain what he's doing there.
Yeah, so apparently the only reason Kane works for the corporation because they've threatened to send him to the mental asylum. And I'm like, is this the only excuse they could have for him to not be in the ministry? Like, he's the wrong colour for the ministry, so he has to be on McMahon's team.
He's not goth enough. He's not goth enough. He's too leather daddy to fit into the ministry. So he must be banished to the corporation, lest he gets sent to a mental home.
Did you notice?
But on what grounds? What grounds are they going to send him there?
They just point at his mask and everything. Like, oh, okay.
But then they've got his brother around trying to crucify people. He's the one that should be going to the psychiatric location, not this lad who's just trying to have the best life.
Did you notice as well? Because I was hyped for Kane's entrance. I was like, oh, I haven't seen like classic Kane for a long time. Someone put a laser pen on him when he was going in.
Oh, there's loads of that in the 90s ones. You see them all like trying to get them in the eyes and the face and stuff.
Can you imagine Kane like, he's blind, man. Can't see. But yeah, that kind of ruined it for me, because then I started thinking about laser pens and going to Benidorm and getting laser pens as a kid. But yeah, so this is where they drop the mental asylum line when they're explaining it, and the worst part of the night happens here, because Shane is also
on the mic
with the corporation, and yes, they'll let him on the commentary desk, and he is. It's not that he's louder than, you know, wrestling's a cacophony at the best of times. You know, you got crowd, you know, bashers shouting people.
Yeah.
It's just the sort of the way he attacks like your eardrums. He's constantly just shouting the same thing over and over again. I was like, I've got to be honest, I kind of skipped ahead a little bit, because I was like, is he going to get off? I had to know if he was going to come off the commentary at some point, and he does.
Yeah.
So I rewound it back and stuck through it, but I was almost like, I kind of can't watch this with sound on.
Yeah, he was obnoxious. He was obnoxious. Yeah. And he reminds me, so Pat McAfee, I'm not massive on Pat McAfee on commentary.
Right, yeah. I
did enjoy his Backlash match the other weekend, by the way. I will say, him against Gunther, and the promo we did the week before on Raw, pretty decent.
Yeah.
But him on the commentary, it's just him yelling noises a lot of the time. And go, Michael Cole, whoa, you, and all that sort of thing. And that's exactly how Shane comes across. That
like how he made you feel.
Yelly, that yelly, obnoxious, like you're not seeing anything of substance, you're just hooting sounds into the air.
And he was shouting, he was popping the mic, because he was keep on saying X-Punk over and over again and doing a hard P in the mic. And it's like, that's a no-no in the broadcasting world. You know what I mean? He was going like, "Duh," like, you know, like making reaction noises when stuff was happening. I'm like, that's not what you need on commentary. Like,
no, it was better when he was falling through things.
He could have stood on the side of the ring and we would have heard him on the camera, but it would have been passable.
You're probably right. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, he shouldn't have been on the mic. Him and Steph were never good when they're on commentary. They should have just not been on commentary.
None of the McMahons are actually that great on the commentary desk.
Thankfully, Linda was never on commentary. Jesus.
Look at those men in the ring. Like, thanks,
wow.
Linda.
The crowd were fucking well into this match.
Yes.
As well.
Some of it was to be like they wanted to see Chyna get what for, because, you know, it is a 90s crowd.
Yes.
And she was played up to be like the massive bad guy. They were also talking about this as if it was a first like competition in like a men's match. That said she'd been in the Royal Rumble, but they were like, this is her first like match, you know. And I was like, okay, so this is their like first intergender serious match that they've gone for.
Yeah, like tag match. Yeah, I think it is. I think the Royal Rumble was sort of.
Yeah, you can get away with a lot more, can't you? Because there's loads of chaos everywhere. She
held her own, like, and she, you know, the move she pulled off looked solid, looked good.
Yeah.
Shane's bump was fantastic. I will give Shane some credit. I
Yeah, because he does get involved. He like tries to. He's got it out for X-Pac and vice versa. Yes. X-Pac's still great. He's always great. He's got those amazing spin kicks, which I love. The crowd really wants to see him do the Bronco Buster to Chyna, and they do get their wish.
Yeah, because he missed it the first time he tried it, and everyone's like, "Oh!"
Yeah, and then
got it again. You think, "Oh," but whatever.
That's the point, though, that Shane comes in, and then X-Pac chases him backstage, and I was like, "Yay! X-Pac saved the day."
Bye, Shane. Jesus Christ. Yeah. But this match felt very of its time.
Yeah,
in terms of the action and the.
It was pretty cool though. Everyone got the moves in, you know. Like, I mean, Chyna didn't have a lot of signature stuff at this point, but she would go on to get like the handspring and like power bombs and stuff. But right now, I think, you know, with it being one of our first like one-on-one matches, she was sort of like just had to do basic stuff like basic slams and things, but got a mean clothesline on her. She's great at them. God, yeah. She's great at them weird reverse low blows as well. No one makes it look better than her.
Yeah. And no, I think she did do really well. And Triple H and X-Pac sold for our moveset as well, and it takes two to tango.
And Kane and her had this kind of like hateful tag team thing going on when they were like tagging each other, and then they were like, "It's my turn to be in."
Yeah. I like that, like a heel team that's not quite getting on. So you think, oh, is Kane going to turn? Is he going to...
He's not allowed, though, because he'll go straight to the asylum.
It's true, but is he willing to risk it?
Yeah. Oh, I did notice Triple H did sell the choke slam really hard, as in he got hit by it, and then he was down for a good, like, 30 full seconds before the pin was finished. And I was like, oh, I'm proud of Triple H for not like burying like Kane's finisher. Like he actually stayed down fully for it.
Triple H is a weird one. Like I never used to like him that much. And he's never been my favorite. But there's some matches that you watch back and think, he did actually sell for people.
Yeah, he's not afraid to make a fool of himself either. You know?
But I think that's been overshadowed by some of the later, slightly more egotistical matches where. Yep. He's clearly like, look at me, I'm great. And, they
had a fun running gimmick of like trying double team moves on Kane, but he just kept sitting up, you know, like the Terminator every time.
Yeah.
And they did talk a bit like how X-Pac tried to recruit him to DX, but then obviously McMahon blackmailed him into not being able to join because they've always had the weird friendship that could never be, you know, like the tragic friendship. Team.
Weren't they at one point?
But X-Pac had to betray him to join DX and stuff, and all that fun. And then he stole his girlfriend as well, and then Tori became evil. Was it Tori? The other Tori?
Yeah, it was Tori. Yeah, Tori Wilson.
Possibly.
Was it Tori Wilson?
But then wasn't there a WCW Tori?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, there was a couple of Tories.
We'll drop it now.
But I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. I did enjoy this match, so I thought it was a really good, fun little tag team palate cleanser after the previous kind of strange, not quite but amazing.
Like, I think like the DX always sent the crowd home either happy or angry, which they got the reaction they wanted. But so Chyna picks up the win after the choke slam with a little crawl onto the body thing. But so then we get a quick recap of the horrible I Quit match between Rock and Mankind, which we find out it was fixed, which you don't know on the night, that it's a recording saying I quit, and Mankind's like, I never said I quit. And then they apparently have a match on something called Halftime Heat, which is
Have you never seen a Halftime Heat match?
No, and Mick crushes him with a forklift, like crushes The Rock.
So I'm going to say Mankind versus The Rock, I loved this feud.
Was this an unsanctioned match, like one of those ones?
So basically, the whole kit and caboodle is that The Rock was obviously the babyface.
Yeah.
And then he turned heel at Survivor Series 98.
Apparently,
he turned heel at Survivor Series 98 to join to win, to fuck over Mankind, to win the championship and turn corporate. So then he was the heel corporate champion. And Mankind became like this uber baby face because everyone felt really sorry for him because he'd been screwed over and all that. So then Mankind won the championship. Sorry, so they had another match at Rock Bottom, which ended in a DQ, I think, or ended in a really scuzzy way that Mankind got fucked over again. Then Mankind won the championship on Raw. Then Mankind lost the championship at Royal Rumble in the horrible I Quit match.
Yes.
And then he challenged him, I think it was the Raw after the Royal Rumble, he challenged him to halftime heat. And what the whole point was is the Super Bowl has a Super Bowl show.
Oh, yeah,
at halftime. So WWE were like, WWF were like, well, if we put on a wrestling match in that halftime Super Bowl, people might turn over and see, what's going on.
Right.
So this is the match they put on, and it was an empty arena match, which I believe might have been Mick Foley's idea, because Terry Funk did a match with Jerry Lawler in the 80s. I think that was an empty arena match as well, in like Memphis or something. So they did their own version, and you would love it because it gets really silly. Food gets thrown. There's some really witty one-liners. They're going to catering. There's some Mick Foley takes some nasty bumps as well. And he wasn't allowed to bleed in that match either.
Oh, because it was in the daytime. Yeah.
It was in the daytime, and he basically got told off after the Royal Rumble. You're not allowed to bleed for however long.
Can I do the pig squeal? Once.
It ends with Rock being pinned by a forklift, and then he wins the championship back.
Right.
So that's why this pay-per-view he is the current champion. So yeah, and then I think he loses it not long after this.
Oh yeah, he was never going to be a long time guy, but it was a fun ride.
It was a great rivalry, though. It was
that was almost it was kind of spoiled by Eric Bischoff at some point, which is a weird bit of history. But yeah, the feud is fun, but I really don't like The Rock after hearing the stories about like the I Quit and stuff, and how he took advantage of like Mick in the moment and things.
Well, I think the two of them went a bit far. I think they're just the adrenaline. And I think, my opinion after watching the I Quit match a few times, I think they agreed with so many headshots, but I reckon Mankind got concussion and then didn't realise he kept getting back up, or how many he'd actually taken.
I don't think they should have done the handcuff spot either, because that's like super dangerous, like in hindsight.
It is. And then The Rock did go too far and did give him too many. I think it was a bit of fault on both sides, but it was a bit grim.
Yeah.
It was a bit grim.
I don't know why The Rock is wrestling in sweatpants in this match.
He is wrestling in sweatpants and a top because he had surgery.
Oh, really? So he's sort of covering up.
He had gynecomastia surgery in either very early 99. I think it was very early 99, so it might have just been before the Rumble, to get rid of like breast tissue or something, so he wore a shirt to cover up.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Because I was a bit confused. I was like, he's not in the right outfit. And I wasn't sure if it was like, because this is a brawl, I'm going to wear like street clothes. But
or he was going to bring himself down to Mankind's level of just wearing casual clothing to a wrestling match.
Mankind's pants didn't look as bad as Mideon's pants, though. I've got to say that. They didn't look as frumpy. I thought he's got an okay thing going on here.
I mean, he had a big enough arse to fill the tights.
Yeah,
I always did notice at this point he had a little hole in his knee, though, which was always there.
I didn't know that. For some reason, I thought that was like something stuck on the outside. I didn't realize it was a hole.
There's a hole, because I think there's a previous pay-per-view, and I think it's Rock Bottom.
Yeah,
where Vince McMahon actually pokes a hole in it, or like pokes his finger in the hole and tells you you've got a hole in your tights. I think it's Rock Bottom when they do that.
Yes, because this was the time when like Mick Foley was trying to be like on Mr. McMahon's good side sometimes, and being like his fake son, being like, thanks.
Yeah, to try, because he wanted to be loved, and then they fucked him over, and that's why everyone was like, oh, bless him, let's all support him, sort of thing. The recap was great, though. I love the recap and the kind of the package they put together.
Yeah,
I thought that was really cool.
So because this is Last Man Standing, it's the one where you've got to knock your opponent down and then a 10 count happens. Not like the confusing Halloween Havoc match.
The Texas Death Match, that one we were watching.
This one is by the books as far as the counting works. But yeah, so it does mean that it's like an immediate brawl into the crowd sort of situation, pretty much. They end up getting on the lighting rigs, like the stage decorations with the gargoyles on them and stuff like that. Which I'll always pop for when they start like moving the stage bits around.
And flinging each other into them.
Yes,
I did notice as well a brilliant sign in the crowd, because obviously Rock's gimmick catchphrases. You can smell what the Rock is cooking or whatever. Yeah. Someone had a sign that said "The Rock's cooking sucks," which I very much enjoyed.
Burn.
Very nice.
He shed one tear when he saw that one.
And there was also a Rocky sucks chant, which is a throwback to when Rock first started and used to get Rocky die, and Rocky sucks chants.
Yeah.
When he first started. And when you said obviously they went to the outside, there was a brilliant bit. I was quite impressed with it, where they went to the outside, they went up to where the entrance was.
Yes.
Did a bit of brawling, then went to the table, where there was just a table there. And they got up on the table, and I thought, he's going to pile drive him. He's going to do the pulling pile driver. But he didn't. He did this DDT, which looked fucking class.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you watch it back, you think, do you think they got on there to do the pile drive? And then they went, I'm too heavy. We're too heavy for this. This isn't going to work.
Maybe.
We'll just do a DDT instead. It looked mint, though.
Yeah, because I was thinking, he's going to do the Cactus Jack pulling pile driver thing.
Yeah.
Like the one where he pulls on his pants. Did you notice the Rock landed on a bag of crisps as well? Yeah. There's a bag of Lay's next to him when he was on the floor. Or it was like Streets of Rage, and he ate them for health afterwards, and that's how he got back up.
To recover.
Yeah, because he did kind of no sell that a little bit, because he was back up pretty quick.
Yeah. It looked good though. Like I rewinded a couple of times, going, "God, that did look good."
It did look scary. I did see the moment when it was like bouncing, and like you could see Mankind was a bit like, "Okay, I'm just gonna turn around really slowly, and carefully."
I'm not the lightest here. Let's do this just gently. But it looked really good.
Yeah.
And these two had dead good chemistry in the ring, I thought.
Yeah,
like they just worked with each other so well, and there's some. Obviously, Mick Foley takes some horrible bumps. I think Rock gives him 3 suplexes in the row on the outside, and you can just kind of go blah, blah, blah every time he gets given one. You think, ooh.
Yeah, because like as much as it has like a foam pad, it's still just on top of bare concrete, and it's like it sounds awful. It looks bad. Like it doesn't look like from a theatric standpoint, it doesn't look great, and I feel like that's destroying your body for like something that's not as flashy as a one in the ring. But yeah, Mankind at one point tries a people's elbow kind of weirdly, where he's like turned the wrong way when he starts it off and things. I'm like, oh come on, he was his friend, he must have seen him do it like 1,000 times. He would know this.
Hold on, this is before the Rock and Sock connection though.
Oh, okay. So he's only seen it from above.
So he's only been given them, yes. I did enjoy, was it Michael Cole that called it Mr. Elbow? And then it was Jerry Lawler went, did you just call him Mr. Elbow?
He didn't even have the sock on. He should have probably put the sock on as part of the build-up. So yeah, there's a point where the Rock gets on commentary as well, and I was like, oh, here we go again. But he didn't shout as much, but he was like, oh, shut up Michael Cole, the real star's here, and stuff like that. And he took that time to be like, it looks like a big monkey came out here and took a crap, and the crap is Mankind. And I'm like, oh, well done, Rock. Like,
you did a joke.
I guess you could call that a joke. It's a joke for like 9-year-olds.
But then out of nowhere, Mankind just came and did a cannonball.
I loved it.
The Rock.
And he's like, oh.
And then did you see the guy behind going, hell yeah, when he did it? He's like punching his head in and stuff.
Those guys who sat behind the announce table got one hell of a show tonight. Like, I'll tell you that much.
Oh god, yeah. And then I think after that, is it the worst bump, which is where does he back body drop? So the Rock, they stand on the announce table, and he back body drops Mankind, and Mick Foley hits his head off the announce table and then clocks his knee or his leg off the bell ringer's timekeeper's table.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that. There's not enough room for that man to like fall in that gap.
You always forget he's not a small bloke. He's like 6'4" or something. So it really made us feel ill.
Yeah, especially when they showed the recap, because I didn't notice the head hit the first time. I was just like, oh, it's probably just Michael Cole exaggerating. It was like, no, he was not exaggerating. No. I think that is soon and stuff, but he also does like the apron elbow drop to like the Rock on the table.
That's right.
Which looks way worse for Mankind than the Rock, you know.
That's pretty much Mankind's offense. It looks bad for the person getting it. It tends to look worse for him, though.
Yeah, and I think that's what kicks off that and the backdrop sequence. Kicks off the knee into the you know, like the working on the knee part.
I did enjoy as well the chair bounce when Rock had the chair. And he bounced it, hit it off the rope, and it bounced and hit himself back in the head. Because I think, I don't know if it might be, but I think that is a bit of a throwback to the year before, 1998, where Stone Cold wrestled Dude Love in a title match at Over the Edge, and Stone Cold did exactly the same thing, but I don't think he did it deliberately. Right. So I'm wondering if they've just put that in as like a little bit of a callback to it, because it was really funny. I quite enjoyed that little sort of dunk.
The thing I do like about The Rock in this era, I don't think he's this way anymore, but he wasn't afraid to look a bit silly at moments in the match. When he was backstage, he wanted to be like Mr. Cool and never be told any otherwise. But in the match, he definitely he was in some silly situations.
Yeah, he was. You're quite right.
But yeah, like he starts off lamping him in the leg, and you get like Mankind doing that like flip over thing and keeps getting back up and gets like chopped back down. And you're like, oh man, just stay down.
And he gets the stairs dropped on him.
Oh, that's awful. Where he like throws the stairs out the ring. I've never seen anyone do that before. I don't think. It just bounces off his like thigh.
Oh, I'm convinced his skeleton is made of adamantium or something. It's just how. But that looked pretty rough as well.
And that was after his horrible spill off the table.
That he rolled to try and get back in the ring, and then they got the stairs dumped on him. Horrible.
Jeez. Did you like the ending of this? Like the end spot? Because I thought it was pretty good.
I liked it because it was different. The one thing I did like that you notice about this particular feud, all the matches had very different stipulations. So you had the Survivor Series, which is like a tournament culmination.
Yeah.
Rock Bottom was probably the most straightforward classic singles match. The Royal Rumble was an I Quit match. This was a last man standing match. And then the last match on Raw. Then you had the halftime heat, then you had this match. Then you had the next match on Raw, which was a ladder match.
Yeah.
And I really liked the fact that it was all a little bit different, so you could get away with having different finishes, and it didn't feel out of place. So, like you said, this ending where they clock each other with chairs was a really good ending because, one, it makes them both still look really strong. They both took a lot of punishment. It sets them up to have that kind of culmination in the next match.
Like it's not finished. Yeah.
It's not finished yet. And it made sense for them to knock each other out.
That's what I thought.
Done everything else that they can do.
Yeah, they were going like so hard on each other that there wasn't much else like that could have happened, I feel like. And it gave Mick a chance to almost get up as well before the count. So you were like, he almost got back up. Did you see how much The Rock bounced after the shot? He got like he caught in the ropes and like bounced back up into the ring, and I'm like, how did he do that? Like, I know it was an accident, but I was just like, why did he bounce so much?
I love Rock's overselling. It's when he used to oversell the stunner as well. Always used to proper tickle his.
Oh god, we got the polar opposite of a terrible stunner cell later on tonight. But yeah, the crowd starts chatting bullshit at this point because they wanted a definitive ending. Which maybe if I
understand that.
If I was a kid, I probably would have been like, Mick should have won. But watching it now, I'm like, oh, this is actually a really fun ending to a last man standing that just killed each other with chairs. Like, oh well, no one's getting up after that.
Nope. And I know that they probably didn't swing him so hard that they actually knocked each other out, but they did fucking swing. So I know it looked legit.
It's got to be hard because you must have to try and clack the chairs together in a way that doesn't just look like you've missed each other at the same time. So kudos to those guys.
I enjoyed that match. I thought it was a really solid match. I think my favourite match of their rivalry is probably still the Survivor Series one.
Yeah, okay.
In terms of the storyline and stuff and the emotions behind it, I was so angry.
Yeah.
When I watched the end of that match. But I think this is probably my next favourite one.
I think this match is like the anger's faded and it's more like vindictiveness at this point. Like, it's weird. But
and they've also traded the title now one or two times, so that it feels a bit more equal. And you haven't got Vince involved, so there's that kind of, they're now on a level playing field almost, instead of, you know, everything's piled against Mankind or whatever.
Yeah.
And it just feels like you're getting two blokes who don't like each other and just want to hate each other enough that
the other one dead, kind of. That's what it feels like. They're like, I want you out of my way and out of this title race.
Be gone.
But speaking of Vince and Mr. McMahon, he's up next because we're going right into the main event, which is Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Vince McMahon in the cage, where if anyone of the corporation interferes, they get fired.
Yes.
So we get another recap and stuff, like a mini recap where you see some little extra scenes and that. I do like how when they're putting the ring together and stuff, it's like, King Austin says he's gonna walk to WrestleMania over Mr. McMahon's limp carcass and stuff like that. I just love like Stone Cold's verbiage, where you can just, I think they might play the clip and stuff, and he's just like, you know, and he's like, I'll wash the spit off my face with your blood type of thing. Just because he sounds just threatening enough, but also just silly enough that, you know, everyone's like laughing along.
It's cartoony, but it's also like, we might actually mean this. The recap of the whole thing was gloriously sort of chaotic.
He had the gauntlet match, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. So Vince versus, and you know, obviously Vince is now Vince. But it's such a shame that he's central.
Noted criminal, Vince McMahon. Yeah,
it's such a shame that he's central to some of the best stuff of that period. You watch it back and think, oh, for fuck's sake! Like,
was this almost like the blow off for the feud? Because it feels like it.
Almost. So I think I can't. I'm trying to remember if there's anything in particular after this. I can't recall. But yeah, I mean, they've had the Royal Rumble where Vince won and earned the championship shot, and then the obviously the Austin versus McMahon thing's been rumbling on for absolutely ages, like a year, 18 months, maybe it's 2 years by this point. And it's one of the best,
because in the opening package they show some of the stuff like the hospital scene.
Oh my god, with the bedpan.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if we'll get another chance to talk about that. But that's one of my absolute favorite wrestling scenes ever, where McMahon's laid up in the hospital bed with his like a big cast on his foot, and then there's like this mysterious doctor, this bald doctor. And the nurse like leaves the room. Oh hell, son, I'm reaching 47. But yeah, and then he just starts like beating him in the head with like his fist, and then beating up his leg as well, like punching his cast, and he's like, rah. And then that bedpan shot is just
it's the donk noise. It's the bonk. It's that whole episode with all the hospital visits is fucking hilarious.
The best thing about it is it's like it's to shut him up as well, because he's screaming too loud. He's just like, I'm sick of this. But yeah, so like this is the feud to end all feuds in wrestling. This is like this is the top of the mountain type of like most famous feud of all time. And it was really because they did capture that kind of working class strife against your boss, where you're like, oh hell, I'd love to beat my boss up and then drink some beers with Stone Cold.
And then he puts all these barriers in your way, and you just keep fucking pushing through and pushing through and pushing through.
And like they would up the ante on each other. Like they would be like, oh, I'm gonna like ruin, you know, your entire night, and then Austin would be like, well, I'm gonna blow up your limousine or fill it with cement or something.
Oh god,
like it's Chrysler or whatever. And he's like, oh. And the beer truck, they were already squirting everyone with the beer.
Zamboni.
Yeah. And he's like swimming in it. Just insane. Greatest feud of all time.
It is. It's and when you watch it back and you think, it still holds up. You still kind of have those feelings, and
it still makes you excited when Austin gets his drives a crazy vehicle into the ring or something.
And it's fucking nonsense though, and it just makes us more convinced than ever that wrestling is essentially just performance art. It's just theatre. Yeah. But with kind of men throwing each other around the ring.
It's like the pantomime, isn't it? Like
it's panto with graps.
Squirt the baddie with like a hose, and they'd be like like falling around. And that.
Exactly, yeah, it's behind you. Oh no, it isn't. You can absolutely imagine that.
That happens because we've been to wrestling shows where the refs turn the wrong way, and we're like, he's cheating.
He's behind you. Well, yeah, it's just panto. It's just wonderful pantomime.
Yeah.
And that sort of feud kind of highlights how panto-y but brilliant and you can get emotionally connected to panto.
Yeah,
wrestling proves it.
I still go to the panto every year, and I think it is because of getting back into the love of wrestling, where I'm like, this is just a fun night, have a couple of beers, shout at the people on stage. It's the same kind of fun. So yeah, we get he did a gauntlet match where he had to take on every single member of the corporation, and because Austin's so good, he almost gets there. But then I think they start interfering, and everyone bashes him up, don't they? Softens him up for Mr. McMahon. To get the pin. So Mr. McMahon can say he's got 2 pinfall victories over Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Mad world. What a mad world.
This is also height of steroids, Mr. McMahon.
Oh, his shoulders. Oh, ridiculous.
I know.
He's what kind of body shape's that?
And he wrestles in the black jeans, which just gives him that extra creep factor and stuff. He still has his belt on and things like that.
So weird. I just couldn't get out how wide he's.
I know.
How does he get in a fucking toilet cubicle with him? I don't know.
And the weirdest thing about him as well, when he puts his suits on, he looks thin again. It's it's like a proper illusion, reveal sort of thing. But it's not the first time we've seen it. So people are expecting it this time. But the first time he did come out and you saw his muscles, it was what the hell.
He's jacked, man.
Again, it was Streets of Rage when the guy would rip his shirt off and be like so yeah, this is a cage match. It's the old school big square one with the square footholds.
Yes.
In black though, not in blue like it used to be.
Yes, they painted it so people thought that they bought a new one, I think.
Yeah.
They probably haven't.
And it's an unorthodox start to a cage match because it starts with a whole run around chase sequence where they don't actually start the match for maybe 20 minutes.
There was a lot of Vince did a lot of sort of not bothering his ass to get in the ring.
Yeah,
just sort of walking around and teasing getting in, and everyone's oh. I think Austin just got sick of.
Do you know when? And do you know when they played up the part where Austin hurt his knee? I actually fell for that, because the stumble he does is really realistic. He sort of does a hot foot stumble thing.
Yeah.
But it turns out he was playing possum just so Mr. McMahon would come over to gloat.
Pantomime, Jake. Pantomime. Yeah, injury exactly. Pantomime.
This was a very bouncy cage though, wasn't it? It was very moving.
Oh, that one was
shaky.
Yeah. Go back and forward and he thingy into it.
So
there was just a big brawl, wasn't it, at the beginning?
Yeah, so
the
Austin
crowd,
Austin tricks him so he can finally get his hands on him, and they take a big spill over the announce table again with McMahon being like, "Raw!" And that's when he hits him in the head with a desk fan. Michael Cole's got his Michael Cole's got his one line where he's like, "Mr. McMahon's one fan hit him in the head," and I'm like, "Hell yeah, Michael Cole, you stick it to him."
Yeah, me. But I did also enjoy Stone Cold getting the crowd to say a hell yeah.
Yes, yeah, because
that was amazing.
Yes, because there's a crazy bouncy thing where McMahon goes through the table. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, they start doing a stretcher job on him, and then is this the first time Stone Cold did his thing? Because I was like, oh, I thought that was way later. Because he's like,
oh, I don't know.
He's like, they're not going to end this match type of thing. But yeah,
might be.
And yeah, we get the classic pull, run the stretcher back into the ring. So
I love that. I love when people run a stretcher back in. I just think it's so funny.
He's still got the neck brace on, and he pulls it off while he's in the ring and stuff. He's messing with his neck brace. But yeah, so this kind of sets off a weird sort of back and forth again pantomime where Austin almost wins the match, and then McMahon's like, no, I'll give you the finger, and that makes Austin so mad he just climbs straight back in. So you get a will they won't they type of thing for a while.
And the stunner.
It was a bad one. He just sort of flopped.
Every time, I don't think Vince has ever taken a stunner well.
I don't see.
There's nothing wrong with not like bouncing or whatever. Yeah. But just you've got to make sure you tuck it solidly and then fall to the side.
Yeah.
Or like fall backwards or whatever.
Yeah. It looks better if you land on your back or your side, but not when you fall forward head first, like afterwards. That just looks terrible.
Or just like he just becomes like a limp worm.
Yeah.
Like it's just turned from a solid to a liquid. He just disintegrates on the fucking mat. And I know he's old. I don't know how old Vince is there. 50?
Probably 50, 60, I'd imagine. Yeah.
But I know his knees might be knackered, probably from the roids. But just watch other people take it and then just copy them.
Yeah.
Like, it's not hard.
Even
you this big wrestling promoter, do the fucking sell.
Even like late era Scott Hall managed to get himself like bounce back off it. And he was giant.
Exactly. He was enormous.
So speaking of enormous giants.
Nice, well done.
What the hell?
Effortless segue.
Big Show was under the ring the entire time. He just comes out of a hole like a weird mole man. I did not know this was going to happen at all. This was a total jump scare for me. Normally Kane is the one who comes out of the ring. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Or the Undertaker. And I think Kane, Undertaker, and Mankind are the only three that I've seen actually pop up.
Yeah.
Pop up through the ring.
So Michael Cole's like, it's Paul White. He's huge and stuff like that. So I think at this point he didn't have the Big Show name. I think he was just appearing. No, because he was the Giant. So this is him jumping ship from WCW finally. And the technicality being he's not a member of the corporation because he probably hasn't signed his contract yet or whatever. Like we'll probably get to that on Raw. He doesn't do a whole lot. We don't see like a showstopper or anything. And then he fucks up the entire plan for Vince. And throws Austin into the cage, which swings open, and then Austin falls onto the ground, winning the match.
It's such a shitty. Is it shitty? I don't know, but it's silly.
It was surprising. I did not see it coming. I'll give you that.
I think the one thing that annoyed me about this, I love the fact that's where Big Show came from. That was fun.
Under the ring.
That was nonsense.
That's his origin story.
We discussed this before we came on, and I think he's been there the entire night because it was a surprise, so he must have got in under the ring before they started the pay-per-view. Otherwise, the crowd would have seen him.
Unless there was a way to hide him when they were building the cage.
What, a 7'4" man? Like, I don't think so. It was dressed as the mat.
They might have wheeled a flight case out and put it like right up against the ring, and he's like.
The only way they could have done that was with a really long casket, but then people would go, that casket's really long. like a big finger all the way down the side of the ring. I think he was under there the entire time. Genuinely, that entire pay-per-view, he was under there. And the reason I liked him popping up and doing whatever.
Yeah.
But what annoyed me, hello dog, Zeus.
There's a dog here.
Is that the ending, it made Stone Cold look weak as fuck.
And it made Vince and the Big Show look stupid.
Yeah, like nobody won here. Like Stone Cold should, in my opinion, win his matches outright usually. Because he's that kind of character who doesn't take any shit. He will go and he will go and he will go until that person is defeated. He will not go for a DQ. He'll not go for a whatever, a non-pin or a non-submission. He will win and he will win fairly. Whereas this just made him look like a goof.
He just like laughs at them, and it's like, yeah, it is funny, Stone Cold. You are correct that this is objectively funny. But yeah, there's no like run back into the ring and start swinging chairs around or like taking the Big Show out. He just stands there and he's like, "Arr!" And his hair's really big because it was obviously really hot and sweaty under the ring.
Static underneath the ring as well. All these men walking around and jumping around on top of you for 3 hours.
Quit it, guys.
Yeah, he must have had to lie down though, because him being so tall, he couldn't have sat under there without really hurting his back.
I really should have researched it if he's ever talked about this.
Do it now, and I'll
well, if I can find a shoot interview where he tells this story, I'll post it in our Discords and stuff so people can read it. But I love the Big Show, and I think he's hilarious, and this just absolutely sent me because I was like, I just couldn't believe it, and I had no idea it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
I knew there had to be something because they were too specific on the no corporation members, so I was like, oh, they're gonna have to like rope somebody in. But I thought it was gonna be Undertaker or something, McGuffin Taker, just use him for anything. But no, I mean,
just to say as well, I know I complained about the finish, but I understand in a way why they did it that way, because it means that Austin is the number one contender for WrestleMania, which means he goes into the main event. And it makes sense that he won, but it should have been. He should have just won. Like he should have just won.
And Big Show, for his debut, should have looked scary.
Instead of goofy, like throwing a man out and Costa. It wasn't a great finish. But I did enjoy Vince's face.
It kind of set him on the path to be like Vince's stupid henchman that didn't get the job done, which is a shame. But yeah, so that was sorry, yeah.
I'm sorry, I was just going to say he should have been introduced as a henchman in a kind of a big boss man way.
Yeah.
That kind of intimidating sort of heel.
Like,
it's like scary.
Like the true backup, like, oh, boss man's been taken out, like, and Vince McMahon's, like,
bring
cornered.
Out the giant!
Yeah.
And he just wanders down. But then it's now also set up, I think he has about 2 or 3 turns, babyface heel turns in about a year. Which is always
then
fun
he ends up
watch.
with the Undertaker, and they talk about going to the desert and making snake ties out of snakes or whatever.
And then I think it's later in the year where he has a feud with the big boss man who makes him ride on the back of a coffin.
Oh my god, that's the poem boss man reads about Big Show is so funny.
God. Insane, man. 99 was insane, wasn't it?
It really was. And we had fun there with wrestling.
I mean, what was it objectively a good pay-per-view? No. It did have some good matches in it, but on the whole, it's average, below average. I think there's a lot of not great matches on here.
It got better as it went along, I'll give it that. And it was very 99. It was very much like nostalgia hit.
Very much so. But like for me, the best matches on the card were the 2 tag matches.
Yes.
And the Mankind Rock match.
Yeah.
For me, they were the best 3. The rest of them, meh.
If Shane hadn't been on commentary, I would have that would have been a comfort match for me, because it's a lot of guys I remember like enjoying as a kid. But yeah, the Rock and Stone Cold was definitely my match of the night, because that one flowed the best, and like you said with the other hardcore match, there was a lot of wandering and grunting. They still had to wander in this match, but because those 2 guys are so like watchable, they just made the transitions not feel like transitions, and they were just all over the place and getting crazy.
And there was always something happening in those transitions, like that walk back from when they did the DDT in the table, the walk back to the ring, that in between there, Rock did a suplex, back suplex, Mankind on the floor, and they travelled back, but there was stuff going on as they were travelling back, sort of thing. And
perhaps it took away a bit from this match, because this was probably our 3rd, 4th crowd brawl of the night. And it is Mr. McMahon, so you get the thing where like he's hanging, knocking him over the crowd barrier, and everyone's like, wah, like tapping him on the back and stuff. So like I say, those people who bought the seats behind the commentary desk got like primo like value out of those tickets. But yeah, I think Austin sometimes falls flat because he has to be in the main event, that he sometimes gets like the spots already done. Like, remember when he's in the First Blood match, and we've just had the Hell in a Cell
the King of the Ring. Hell in the Cell, the 1998
and
one.
It's like, how do you follow that type of thing in another sort of cagey, like hardcore? But yeah, I had fun. Special thanks to Sammy for suggesting we do this, because this was one of her childhood tapes, and I'd never seen it before. But I had definitely heard people talking about this show, because I remembered some of the vague storylines. So Sloop, what have you picked for us next?
Well, next we're going to go back to 1990, and we're going to watch some WCW Capital Combat. Which
is that in Washington, D.C.?
Possibly. It also has the added bonus of having RoboCop in the pay-per-view as well, helping out our good friend and ultimate babyface of WCW, Sting. So I'm sure we'll all be fascinated to see what goes on there. I have never seen Capital Combat all the way through. I've just seen clips of the thing with fucking RoboCop.
Yeah.
So it'll be very interesting to watch, and I'm sure we'll have some fascinating things to talk about.
Just hearing you say the sentence, just like, and RoboCop.
And RoboCop. What I will say is I don't believe RoboCop does actual wrestling in the show, sadly, which I think will be quite difficult.
It's like Camp Krusty, like RoboCop's will be here, but he's got a bad back and laryngitis. He won't be saying anything or doing anything.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And I can't confirm if it is the actual RoboCop. I don't think it is.
It's just Peter Weller. No, but that's it. I promise on hand on heart I will research as much RoboCop stuff as I can for that. And if I can find a shoot interview with RoboCop, whoever was in the WCW. Oh man,
that'd be hilarious.
That sounds incredible. Thank you to everyone who's dropped in to watch us in this silly chaos where we just talk about our love of wrestling and try and unpick what's nostalgia and what's actually good from these crazy times.
What may also be shit as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks again. We'll be back with probably next month, in the month of June, I guess, whenever we find a time to record. But yeah, in the meantime, check out Nerdy Up North. We're always doing stuff, appearing in places and messing about on stuff. I'll be hitting
Sell that well, by
I was going to say I'll be hitting the stage at Summer Nerd Fest in June time, around June the 19th. Look out for me there. Put me through a table. Come on, I test you.
And flip me off. Give me a beer.
Hi, Zeus. But yeah, I'll see if I can find someone to raid to. I'm going to hit the fireworks, but that's a goodbye from me. And we will fade out, sort of, but not really. Goodbye, everyone. How do I get back to the start screen?